Hello, friends. Welcome in. Typically, Friday is supposed to start at 9 a.m., but not today, no. It's one of those days where I'm kind of like pulled in several directions, and I've got my dog nurse cap on. Bruce had to be taken to Big Vet yesterday. And by the way, I was at Big Vet being worried, and I got a call from my attorney, the Italian Ice Queen, and it all unfolded very, very quickly. I cannot wait to tell you about all of this. This is working out just splendidly. But our guy, Bruce, in fact, if you saw me yesterday on the Patreon and during Big Fraud Thursday, Bruce was wearing the cone of shame. And man, so he has to wear it until like April 2nd. Now that's a long ass time to wear the cone of shame. He's got an eye ulcer, which sounds horrific. A corneal eye ulcer. I don't know how this happens. I think my guy was rubbing his face on the carpet because he has allergies. Doesn't matter. And I go, all right, I got to take you to the vet, man, because it looked weird. Something was all just, it looked horrible, the eye. Rebecca says, get him a soft cone. Easy to find on Amazon. Well, the problem with that is if that's there, he can still drag his face on the ground. Stevie says, not even 24 hours, no way, 2 weeks would work. So I want him to rest without it on. That's why it's off. So I'm going to count on you because I can see him right now, but sometimes I don't have my screen up, so I don't see what's happening behind me. So if you see Bruce moving around or it's looking like he's starting to drag his frickin' face on something, you got to let me know. Because they did some work on the eye to promote the healing. And then they said, all right, you got to keep the cone of shame on because you don't want to. I'm like, all right, fine. So he did not sleep well at all last night. And then things got even more screwed up because Darla peed on the bed. Now, I know I sound like a broken record. And I don't know why she does this. But she peed on the bed. So it's 2 a.m, and I'm sound asleep, and I wake up to Pooh Bear, and I hear, oh, God damn it. God damn it. What? Darla peed on the bed. Alan writes Baxter treatment. He's suggesting that I kick the dog off a bridge. And it's like, well, shut up. No, that's my dog. Strip the bed. All the dogs are up. They're all on the bed with us. They all have to get down. Bruce has his stupid cone on. He's looking at me. And one eye open because the other eye kind of bugs him. Rebecca says that her dog Hank threw up on the bed last night. Really? Well, that's like the worst. If you're lucky, you'll hear like the warm up to it where they go, and then you're like, oh. But if you sleep through that, that's a problem. Alan says, what about putting the dog in a kennel? No. Then why have a dog? I might as well just give the dog away if I put it in a kennel, moron. Do you have any idea the comfort I get from having a snuggle fest with a puppy? Have you not experienced the greatness of a puppy snuggle party, you asshole? The fuck is wrong with you? Put the dog in a kennel. Put you in a kennel. Moron. You probably don't even have a dog, do you? You probably don't like dogs, which means I don't like you. Dummy. strip the bed. Bruce is like, come on, man. I can't. It's just terrible. Put the clean stuff on the bed. Alan says he loves dogs and he has one. And his dog has his own bed. Well, that's good. You're lucky. By the way, I wake up and the stuff that we pulled off the bed that the dog peed on, she got up again in the middle of the night and peed on it again, like on the pile of bedding. She's like, oh, yeah, this is where I go now. Might as well. So this morning, Bruce wakes up and he's got his collar on. And by the way, I was under $500 yesterday at Big Vet, which is a bargain. It had been at least 2-3 weeks since I spent thousands of dollars. So this is amazing. You know, it's bad when they say, yeah, it's going to be $484. You're like, oh, cool. Oh, awesome. This morning, so Bruce is in here sound asleep, attempting to sleep with that thing on the lampshade on his head, the cone of shame. I take him outside. He's bumping into everything. He's just not getting it. So I take it off so he could go to the bathroom. He pees outside. And then he comes in. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to buy him. I got to give him a break. I have to give this guy a break. And he probably won't move for this entire show. He is out of it. Hello to Vampster75. Thank you for subscribing with Prime. I appreciate you. While I was there, the Italian Ice Queen calls me. Now, I've just gotten to know her. And I guess, okay, so in case you don't know, I don't want to tell you too much about this because I'm afraid people are going to try to use this against me somehow. But as I've indicated, this former husband and wife power couple is no longer together. And there's a dispute about their children. Plaintiff says, you are unfit to be a father. Defendant says, no, yes, I am. Alan says, save it for the Patreon. No, this is fine. This is not a big deal. This is right up there with me reading excerpts from my own show. Somehow I get called into this because of my relationship with the defendant. Like I have anything to do with this. This is ridiculous. But I've had fun with it on this show. But when it came down to it, I don't want anything to do with this. I don't understand what me doing a stupid podcast has to do with whether or not somebody is a good or a bad parent. What? So I told you that I got served, and when I got served, they sent along like all these transcripts from my show, and I for the life of me cannot figure out why there's so much of this material, but they have various highlighted sections and stuff like that, and I think they have some type of smoking gun, or I guess I'm not sure, but when I hired the Italian Ice Queen, she goes. I go, can you get me out of this? I don't want to participate in this. I don't want to see these people. I don't want to be around these people. I don't want to be in the middle of this. Fuck this shit. She goes, no problem. She files an objection to my appearance. And the attorney for the plaintiff in this custody dispute reaches out to the Italian Ice Queen yesterday. And no, I wasn't there. But he was very kind. And he understood completely. And he was polite and friendly, and it was a wonderful conversation. All is good. So I think that's it. I'm not 100% sure what happens next, but I guess that I can still be part of it if, for whatever reason, the attorney for the plaintiff says, no, I think we'd like to hear what he has to say. Then the problem with that is then the Ice Queen has to travel across the state. And, I mean, it's not cheap. Let's just say that. But whatever, If she says if he wants to hang out, I will absolutely do that. So I said, okay, thank you. Thank you, Ice Queen. And Ice Queen is great because I think she really likes that. She's a bully. That's what she is. She's an absolute bully. And as you know, I like that. I like being bossed around by powerful women. That's why I married Pooh Bear. And when I hear, this is what you're going to do, I usually am like, sir, yes, sir. And she says, okay, stay home. You're not going anywhere. And wait for my instructions. That's what Ice Queen said. And I said back, I go, yes, ma'am. And she just giggled. And I think that by me saying, yes, ma'am, I'm hitting the serotonin producing portion of her brain. And it's a big rush. And that's a good thing. That's what I employ her to do, is to be in charge and to boss me around. And that's the way it has to be. So at the end of the day, everybody seems happy. And I think that I have nothing to do with this. I think it's been realized that, okay, enough. The Ice Queen did say, look, you have information that Eric had said on his show. And I guess that the attorney for the plaintiff said, but Eric said that he looks forward to this. The Ice Queen said, it's a show. That's a show that he does. It's a comedy show. So I don't know if you can take anything he says as, God's honest truth or gospel or anything like that. But whatever. Maybe you don't know. New listener, I get it. She goes, but you've already taken copious notes with an unbelievable amount of transcript information. If those are his words, those are his words, and you want him to sign something to say, these are my words, he'll be happy to do that. So I think that may be the end of it. Now, it wouldn't surprise me right now if either later in the day, listening to the audio or going back and watching the Twitch live stream, or perhaps covertly enjoying the show right now, that all those parties involved are paying attention to this stupid show. And I say welcome. I say welcome to you. I appreciate you all. And good luck. That's all I can say. I think I've covered it. But wait, there's more. Let's get into the Eric Zane files, the dramatic recreation and reading of my own show, of my words, when compiled by the transcriber. Man Bun Chris says, hair is on point today, Toon Man. Appreciate you. We are going to be auctioning off this transcription and this copy of Pellerito's May 20th, 2025 appearance at Bob's Barn. All I'm doing in the 150 pages of transcription of my show from years ago is reading directly from it, dropping the needle, and away we go. A 100%, I said. 100%, I tell you what. This multiple days off, this little working vacation I'm taking couldn't happen soon enough. Rebecca says, keep it super generic. Hello, ma'am. I hear you're associated with the team. Would you be willing to help me with X? No, I don't even know what this means. This is so drop the needle out of context. You're right. I kind of get in my own way. I'm very clumsy when it comes to this. Jeremy says, this isn't on you, Easy. You were fed bad info. All right. I've got breaking news to get to. A thank you to Chris K. And thank you to Bob and PA for tipping me off. Yet another day has passed where your old pal EZ gets a nice little love tap, a gentle nudge, if you will, from our pals on Free Beer and Hot Wings. It has happened yet again today live on the air, and I'm going to share it with you in just a minute. The way this one unfolded, they were playing well. I'll just read it to you. It's always, I get a warm feeling when I get texts like this. 7:35, easy reference, show living rent-free in your head. I wrote back, give me some context. He writes, they were playing a dumb game identifying idioms or sayings, and the saying was living rent-free in your head. Okay? So, yeah, Greg would give, like, clues to the idiom, and then the gang would guess. You know, that's a staple of this show. It's a regular thing. Now let's get into how it unfolded, ladies and gentlemen. And then it says, Greg. Let me phrase it this way. For $400 a person, you're having obsessive thoughts about is living this cost-related way in your head. Maitland says her name. Chris says his name. Kelly says her name. Greg says Maitland. She says, what is rent-free? Greg says, correct. Y'all ever live rent-free in somebody's head? Kelly says, hell yeah, they all agree. And then Chris says 1,000%. Greg says, we live together, don't we? Kelly says, yeah, they have a big laugh. Greg says, it's like real world in that brain. Back to me. That is outstanding. Excellent. Thank you again. I don't know why you do that. You don't need to do that. It's foolish to do that. Why do you feed the machine? All that does is indicate that I am living rent-free in your heads. Why breathe life into me? You know full well that this is what I live for. That's why I do this. Why in the world do you constantly make the same mistakes? I don't know. Again, all that does is makes my job that much easier. Stevie says, one line was funny, though. Made me laugh, too. It's like the real world in there. Rebecca says, y'all are neighbors in each other's heads. So congrats to those who have made the transcript. Well done. Man Bun Chris says, why is this relevant in a custody battle? I do not know. And I didn't really want to find out. So for now, that's it. Now, that doesn't mean it's over and done with. This representation for the plaintiff can say, no, I really need him there. I really need him there to talk about his show, which I guess that's cool for me, you know. Now, at some point, I'm going to have to tip off my friends over at the TV station about this because it's kind of an interesting story. And then it kind of opens up a different can of worms. Alan, I'm not going to read that. Maureen says, I want to make the list. Bread Bull Brain Chris says, yes, we made it. Stevie says, hashtag goals. Donut Dan says, holy shit, is that a bunch of paperwork? I know, it's my show written out. Several shows. Excerpts from shows from years ago. I don't know. Little old me and my stupid little podcast. Here I am. How in the world that makes things weird in terms of this custody dispute, I have no idea. No idea. Donut Dan says, oh, hell yeah, public divorce is great news. Great TV news, great news TV. But my schedule has freed up for today. Murder Lover Linda says, I hope they used AI to transcribe. I think they did. I don't think it was actually a person. I would be shocked if it was like a person listening to that shit and hunting and pecking and typing it out. But that is what's going on right now. Vamster75 says custody battles can get nasty. They're just reaching and using anything they can to discredit the other. Come on now. Just get along with each other. They might be using you on the list to try and get the other to make a deal. I don't know. All I know is that I was booked today for 2 p.m. I am no longer booked for 2 p.m. because the Ice Queen said, you're not going. There was a little bit more about that phone conversation, but I'm keeping that close to the vest. Stevie says, can you post the link to our brackets? I want to see how badly mine is busted. Yeah, I think we should get into that. The basketball tournament is underway, and even people who don't give a shit about this have filled out brackets. Let's talk about that right now. For our group, you may see here where it says rank 1, and then it says the Eric Zanes picks. Okay? I am top of the heap right now. I take it back. I'm tied for top of the heap. The actual top of the heap is S.E. Kells picks 1. But even though we both have the same amount of points right now, this person has the potential to get more points than me. What are you known as on this, Stevie? Just your name? Because I need to know so that we can make fun of you. The brackets were busted because of a few games, which I'll get to that in a second. Derek D is horrible. Black Belt Nick's picks stinks. Hollywood Joe, horrible. Kyle Tomei, he stinks. Tophus is in 10th place, but he's actually tied for second. So all these people between the very top of the list down to Tophus are between first and second place. So it's only one day. It doesn't really matter at this point. All of this is going to change dramatically. Stevie says, I have Duke winning. And she also says, I don't remember. Man Bun Chris says, I should have known Easy is a big college basketball fan. No, not at all. Not at all. I just go random. I did pick, let's see, TCU over Ohio State. That's not really that much of an upset. I did pick Louisville over South Florida. I did pick Michigan State over North Dakota State. So I haven't lost in that region. Now you head over to the West, and this stinker, High Point upsets Wisconsin. More on that in a second. That was a 12 upsetting a 5. In the South, Virginia Commonwealth taking out North Carolina. That sucked. And then Texas A&M beat St. Mary's. That sucked for me too. All right, so there you go. Those two losses plus the Wisconsin loss. And, that has me losing. See, I had Wisconsin going all the way to this round, whatever this is, the Sweet 16. So now I lose all these games too. So I'm probably a huge pile of shit. I think that after all the games were played, that there's only like 0.06% of brackets that are still perfect at this point. I can't remember. I think that's either very rarely happens or never happens that somebody gets a perfect bracket. Bread Bull Brain Chris says, now that Madison is going to go to that certain university, you have to remove certain words from your auto mod. Yeah, I'm just hoping that we can just keep Joe Martinez from doing his thing here and being the huge douchebag that he is when it comes to Michigan. I haven't seen him here in a while, though, so I don't know. Ben writes, fuck this fucking tournament. Go through team strengths and rosters and histories of upsets by seed and then get screwed 3 hours after the tournament tips off. Now that is, you represent most of America when it comes to their picks. Wow. The coach of North Carolina, Hubert Davis, is, oh man, this guy. He's doing the press conference and he's offering up one-word answers. My God. Here's a clip from after his team just lost, upset to Virginia Commonwealth.
Got a little bit tired there?
I did not. I didn't.
This is a man whose soul is dead inside. Look at that face. Mouth noises and staring.
Hubert, why did you go to just a six-man rotation in the second half?
Because that was my decision.
Oh, that's so awkward. Why'd you go to a six-man? I don't even know what that means. He just stares at him.
Coach, what do you think went wrong?
Oh, what a horrible question.
What do you mean?
Excuse me.
Hubert, the free throws again, as you mentioned, a little bit of an issue tonight. Why do you think that was such an issue for your team throughout the season?
That's a great question. I mean, we work on them, and
Alrighty. He loosened up a little bit there. Let's see if there's anything in this one. I think it's a different clip.
Do you think that there's something inherently missing, an ingredient, or is it just fluky things that happen in March and it doesn't necessarily speak to anything larger than that?
that's a big thinking question, and I apologize. I'm just not there right now. Just really sad.
Yeah, he's loosening up.
That we're not continuing to play and to move forward, because I have loved and enjoyed this team. I enjoy and love all of them, but I've just really enjoyed coaching this team, and I really wanted this group and these kids to experience more. And so, but other than that, I'm just thinking about these guys and the rest of the guys that are in the locker room.
Okay. Yeah, that wasn't bad. The first one was a little rough. Maureen says, too bad all coaches don't have the class of Hall of Famer Tom Izzo. Donut Dan says, throw a chair at the reporter like Bobby Knight. Murder Lover Linda adds, yeah, well, curing cancer is a big thinking question. Basketball is not. I think Izzo's kind of a psychopath too, though, which I don't mind that. Ben says UNC sucks. That wasn't a shocker. David says that guy gives zero fucks. Rebecca says, am I now allowed to announce some breaking celebrity news? Yes, I'm not. I don't know what's going on. Did somebody die? Was it? Please don't tell me it's Chuck Norris. Because I heard Chuck Norris was sick. Like they had to take Chuck Norris to the hospital. And then they're like, no, Chuck Norris doesn't go to the hospital. The hospital comes to him. Please do. Fill me in on the breaking celebrity news. Maureen says Pete Rose has died. That joke from, okay, you know, he's been dead. Okay, it is Chuck Norris. Shit. I was just guessing because he went to the hospital. Okay. That's too bad. I like Chuck Norris. Yeah. He was 86. Read the full story through the link. Okay, hang on. I'm sorry about this. It's with heavy hearts that our family shares the sudden passing of our beloved Chuck Norris. They need to put some Chuck Norris, like those Chuck Norris jokes into it. They need to say, though we fully expect him to kick death's ass and be back here in time for dinner. Chuck was surrounded by his family and was at peace. Of course, Walker, Texas Ranger. I think he was like a horrible actor, wasn't he? I think he breathed life. There was life breathed into his career because of internet memes. But yeah, that show, Walker, Texas Ranger, was very popular. Donut Dan says, time to sell my total gym now. Thank you, Rebecca. I'd like to get to the college basketball announcers for High Point. High Point upset Wisconsin yesterday. And they have students on the broadcast, and they're very good considering they're students. This is one of those Cinderella stories. You know, they're like a 12 seed, but I've never heard of High Point. And Wisconsin, number 5 seed out of the Big Ten, they had a strong year. So for High Point to beat Wisconsin, that's a tall order, but they did. And they did it in dramatic fashion. Because as I'm looking at it, they were down 4 points with 1:02 to go. And you will see on the top the announcers, and on the bottom is the gameplay. This is exciting. I always love these.
Anderson, driving, step back. In circles now, Johnson catch and shoot. That's what they needed. Timeout. Timeout. Portland, do you believe it? Here comes Johnson. The layup.
This is when they go up.
Johnson, transition. Takes it in bounds.
This is when Wisconsin trying to go ahead with 10 seconds to go.
9 seconds. Boyd wants it inside. Try. 6 seconds. Block. Now Boyd, they launch down court. Anderson gets it. Throw on the glass slipper. It's a Cinderella story in Portland, Oregon. For the first time in program history, High Point breaks through. We will see you in the round of 32. Oh, what a feeling.
That's great. I think they were on Good Morning America today. High Point announcers on Good Morning. I thought I had that ready to go, but I think I lost the clip. Jimmy Rosselli and Griffin Wright.
Thank you, Sam.
My pleasure.
We want to turn now, though, to our GMA cover story. 2 basketball sportscasters from High Point University joining their Panthers in their first ever big dance. The duo called the game, and they even got to travel with the team. We're about to chat with them live. But first, here's a look at how they took the broadcasting world by storm. They are the college broadcasters who
This is actually old. This is from last year's tournament, but I like the story.
captured our hearts when their team defied the odds.
Trey Miller, you animal!
Meet High Point University students Jimmy Roselli and Griffin Wright, the off-court stars of March Madness.
Look at that steal. Terry Anderson all the way. Got it.
The 19 and 21-year-olds going viral for their calls as their team punched their first ticket ever to the NCAA tournament in this come-from-behind win over Winthrop. The duo, who dipped into their own funds to make that history-making trip, returning to announce High Point's first-round game against Purdue. But this time, they traveled with the team.
Three. Here's the mean mug. Mean mug. Trey beat him.
And while High Point had to say goodbye to the tournament on Thursday,
A memorable season for High Point. They are having the time of their
Okay, so
lives.
last year they didn't advance. They didn't win a game. This year they did.
Jimmy and Griffin are saying hello to a whole
Look
new
at that chick. She's like, oh, you make me wet. Ooh.
And Griffin
I
are
love
saying
you guys.
hello to
Oh,
a
these guys are getting so much tail.
whole new level of fame. They sure are. And we are joined now by Jimmy Roselli and Griffin Wright. Good morning to you both.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Of course. You guys are, our partners in broadcasting. So impressed with the job you did, your energy out there. You guys have gotten more than 1 million views and also some shout outs from ESPN, from Barstool Sports, and more. So how has it been to experience all this attention? Are you surprised?
Yeah, I think surprise is an understatement. We're just doing what we do, and it was pretty cool to get all the attention we've had so far.
Well, you guys are very good at what you do, and boy, what a season for High Point. It's really been an amazing story for you all.
Yeah, man, it's been a blessing, especially to do it with this guy right here, and then
I can't take it. Still great. Still great. That's going to help them. You get that type of viral fame like that. Stevie says Lusk calls the snow day. That's right, Aiden Lynch. Aiden Lynch. Lusk calls the snow day. We got to go back for that. What the fuck is that?
The right way to top a sub is with real red wine vinegar made from red grapes and no food coloring.
And Lusk calls the snow day. Breaking news. Lusk just called a snow day right here at the student section. Oh my goodness.
This is broadcaster Aiden Lynch, who made the call of the video featuring Aiden, who would drive.
And Lusk calls the snow day. Breaking news. Lusk just called a snow day right here.
That was great. That's what that reminds me of. Thank you, Stevie, for tipping me off on that one. High Point, North Carolina, yes, great little school. Alan says that the kid in the broadcast is really good. No, their delivery is refreshing, and they're just kind of, you get a lot of people that are like, you want to avoid that type of like screaming. But in some cases, it just works. They're very physical. They're like pushing each other during the broadcast. That's fun. I don't give a shit. And they're homers. I mean, they're there for the home team, and they're the little engine that could. And they take out a team that is much more prestigious, I guess, at least on paper, than them, and they beat Wisconsin. That's a big deal for High Point. Megan says High Point has a store where black people and white people buy furniture. Are you referring to the Red House? At the Red House. Allen says, like Paul Allen, I can't listen to the Vikings on the radio anymore. Yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But these guys are young broadcasters, and I don't know if these guys have any aspirations to do it outside of school, but that's still a pretty cool story. I like that that's happening, you know? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a big shout out to a sponsor that we just brought into the fold this week, and they are Zelensky Outdoor Services. Now, a few of you have reached out to Nate Zelensky. He has his phone on him right now and said, Nate, we've heard about you on the Easy Show. I want you to give me a quote as to how much it's going to cost me for the cutting season for you to take care of the lawn at our house. And that is absolutely amazing because I talked about it earlier. A lot of the people that market on my show are moms and pops, and they're not made of money. So if I do my job, that is to convince them that the thing to do is be on this show so that I can spread the word about them. And for you as an audience to say, all right, yeah, let's give these guys a shot. That's a good feeling for him because when these folks spend money with me, I mean, it's coming off of the top. That's money that they could have in their pocket. So if they can get the return on their investment and then some, and then have returning customers and improving their customer base like Nate is doing, it's a huge win for him, for me. It keeps the show going strong, and that's how I've done it since I started this so many years ago. So I cannot say enough about how helpful that is and how much I and he and his family appreciates that. So if you want someone who does it right, does a great job taking care of your lawn, call Nate Zelensky at Zelensky Outdoor Services, 734-626-7788. He's a family man. He's got a wife. He's got kids. Moved here from Detroit to do his thing. He found out about me from one of our audience members, Ian, who said, yeah, reach out to this guy. He tipped me off, introduced us, and away we go. Nate also has a great referral program. Like, let's say, you're using him and you're his customer and he's working on your lawn, mowing it every week or whatever, and you refer a friend or a family member, your next cut is free. You keep referring people, it's free every time. How awesome is that? So that's what he's hoping to do. So at the end of this 3-month campaign, we get as many people as possible who reach out to him, and we can really help him jumpstart things at Zelensky Outdoor Services. And then it kind of builds like that. So I'm just tickled to have them on board. 734-626-7788. Done a terrible job talking about sponsors today, and I forgot to mention that this show originates in the Impact Power Sports studio. Pick up something fun with an engine at Impact Power Sports, online at impactpowersportsmi.com. They've got a location in Rockford, Michigan that you want to swing by there and say hello to them. ATVs, UTVs, motorcycles, e-bikes. Some refer to them as B-bikes. We covered that yesterday on Who Are These Free Beers? You can get all these things at Impact Power Sports. They sponsor the studio, and I'm delighted to have them. Yeah, we did a Big Fraud Thursday yesterday. One of the things we focused on was our pal Kelly Cheese going on a historic run of Crispy R's that happened organically. A lot of the times, well, all the times that I ever bring you Crispy R's, it is because I've edited out, the little moment in time and made a supercut, a montage, if you will, of her Crispy R's. But I was tipped off. Actually, I heard it first. The first time it happened, I heard it myself, and I went, oh, my God, what is happening here? She is actually going out of her way, it seems, to say words that are Crispy R's. And then a audience member later on in the day reached out and said, yeah, hey, did you catch this Crispy R festival? I was like, oh, my God, I just got done listening to it. Kelly was ranting and raving like a crackhead because a family member died and gave her a couple of pieces of fine china or some shit. So she's talking about it, really long-winded, 15-minute story about the stupid china or whatever the fuck it is. And then she's going on and on about getting a gravy boat. In case you don't know, a Crispy R is like the word gravy to a Crispy R word person is gravy. Cream is cream. Crack is crack. Crystal, crystal. Okay, that's the way she does it. She has an intense speech impediment, and it appears some type of learning disability that has caused this to happen. That is just my armchair physician's diagnosis of this speech impediment. And but she, in this string of things, of words on one day this past week, she was saying them without me having to edit them together. Check this out.
You're right about that. Yeah. And I inherited one that's like a chocolatey brown color. Another one's
better be.
They loved gravy boats is what I'm learning. And pitchers to pour cream out of. There's so many creamy pitchers. I'm like, what is this thing for? My mom's like, oh, cream. I'm like, why did you need a brown one, a green one, a pink one, and then a crystal one? I have crystal.
Yeah. Crystal for cream.
I have crystal.
In particular, that pronunciation, that one. This might be the most intense Crispy R that I've heard in my entire life.
Cream. Cream.
It sounds like she's adding an extra syllable.
Cream.
She says cream.
Cream.
You're like, easy, you got to be exaggerating.
Cream.
No, I'm not.
Cream.
Yeah, you need intense speech therapy, madam. You sound horrible. My God. Steve says, and a bonus Steve repeat. I didn't even notice that. Wait a minute.
You're right about that. Yeah. And I inherited one that's like a chocolatey brown color. Another one's
better be.
They loved gravy boats is what I'm learning. And pitchers to pour cream out of. There's so many creamy pitchers. I'm like, what is this thing for? My mom's like, oh, cream. I'm like, why did you need a brown one, a green one, a pink one, and then a crystal one? I have crystal.
Yeah. Crystal for cream.
I have crystal.
Yeah, it was kind of buried there. The Steve Echo effect has quietly become one of the longest supercuts that we have. I have almost 2 minutes and 30 seconds of Steve repeating what other people say right after they say it. I'm going to drop the needle at the midway point of this supercut because I don't think you can take that much of Steve's repeating. And the early ones have been heard much more than the later ones for obvious reasons. But here you go.
Of Frosted Flakes and dirt on it.
Frosted Flakes and dirt.
There's a long line at the register.
There's a long line at the cash register.
I decided to go in to herd her out of there.
I went in there to herd my...
Ben Glaze says to play it all. All right, I'll play it all.
Fancy Sam.
Into his bank tube of love.
His bank tube.
Okay. Hang on. God, I suck at this.
That must make banking hard.
That must make banking difficult.
Direx or whatever it is.
Direx.
Race you to Dead Man's Curve.
Yeah.
Because people die. I'll give it a goog.
Give it a goog.
I'll pee in that cup.
I'll pee in that cup.
Is that why you call me Mrem?
Mrem.
Just ask Toggy.
You dipstick.
Dipstick.
Yep.
They call French fries palm frites.
CD changers in the trunk.
In the trunk.
I'm a video game dog.
I'm a video game dog.
Max Joe Steele is back.
Max Joe Steele. day.
Shitty face cut.
Face cut.
You guys notice that whenever he's doing that, he's always like kind of half chuckling. Face cut. He's always like laughing along with it. Like it's his way to illustrate. And rather than just laughing, he has to say the punchline, that term being used loosely, while chuckle talking.
Ever feel like big bread?
Big bread.
Maybe the paper will talk about it.
The paper.
Beating the night terrors.
Beating the night terror.
To aggressively nibble the bean while he was at Y-Town.
I nibbled the bean at Y-Town.
My mother-in-law makes puke.
Puke.
Tiger shark. Guy on a jet ski that says Monte Carlo.
Tiger shark. Monte Carlo.
Endearingly saccharine person.
Enduringly saccharine person.
Panthera genus.
Panthera genus.
Broketron, unite.
Broketron.
The Little Lightning Jump Rope Team.
The Little Lightning Jump Rope Team.
Fancy Sam.
Fancy Sam.
Into his bank tube of love.
His bank tube of love.
Frosted Flakes and dirt on it.
Frosted Flakes and dirt.
There's a long line at the register.
There's a long line at the cash register.
I decided to go in to herd her out of there.
Some of those aren't even jokes. He's so used to this. This is a brain misfiring moment. That's what's happening here.
I went in there to herd my wife.
I quit Tybo with
Tybo.
Thor to get a Fago Moon myth.
It's true. And
A woman has won the...
A woman.
it looks
Well,
like
I know
a
how to
merkin.
Looks like a merkin.
I love you too, my little creation.
My little creation.
And the cursed market.
The cursed market.
Kirk Giles, the police chief.
Kirk Giles.
It's like it'd been a road weave for a minute.
Road weave.
Tricky Ricky. Gregster wants to know if...
Tricky Ricky and
what
the
if I just
Gregster.
did that? Smashed my TV with a baseball bat.
Smashed a TV with a baseball bat.
Bucket of clam strips.
What ladies love.
overnourished male.
Overnourished.
You're not even in your seat. You'll be dead.
You'll be dead.
Drink butter-themed cocktails.
Butter-themed cocktail.
Eat some bagels.
Eat some bagels.
Is that because little drops of lotto over there can't hold on to it?
Drops a lot.
You have fat earlobes.
Fat little earlobe.
Weird guys from Mr. Meaty. Scared the
Mr.
whole
Meaty.
That guy sucks. That is so fucking embarrassing. And again, we're just scratching the surface, you know, out of the however many times that he lists that they, however many hours that they broadcast in a week, I'm sifting through, 2 hours a week while I'm driving. Oh my God. What a shitty fucking broadcaster. All right. Folks, we've got to get into the story. I haven't touched it yet, but I am now. Former now late labor leader, Cesar Chavez. I guess he was a creep. Some chick has said, yeah, he molested me. It was a New York Times story that kind of blew the lid off of it. Now, Chavez is revered. And in any city in America that they have a population of like Mexicans, like we have our own little Mexico not far from here. There's Cesar Chavez Avenue. There's Cesar Chavez Elementary School. And right away, people are already like, yeah, fuck that shit. We got to get rid of that. So I want to get into this. I seriously, I don't know shit about this other than somebody has said, yeah, he molested me.
It says the late labor rights activist sexually abused women for years. In Grand Rapids, a street and an elementary school are named after Chavez. 13 on Your Side's Nick Nelson spoke with local leaders about what these allegations mean for the community. Nick.
Juliet, some of those officials say some serious discussions need to take place in the coming months about the future of Cesar Chavez Avenue and Cesar Chavez Elementary School. Some are even already calling for those to be renamed.
I was very saddened, very disappointed to learn of these allegations.
An investigation by the New York Times documents sexual abuse allegations against labor rights leader Cesar Chavez. Chavez is alleged in the report to have abused and molested multiple women and underage girls over the course of decades. Both a Grand Rapids street and elementary school in the city's southwest side are named after Chavez. Grand Rapids
vocal fry on this guy here.
Public School says the district will evaluate next steps in alignment alignment with the district's values.
That's a conversation that we're going to have with the community in coming months as this.
This is Jose Rodriguez. He's on the he's a board president.
Story develops so we can make the best decision possible for our community.
GRPS board president Jose Rodriguez echoed those sentiments at a candidate forum Wednesday.
We stand with the survivors of sexual violence, and so we're really going to keep an eye on that and see what proactive steps can we take to make sure that abusers and folks who have harmed people aren't elevated in our community.
Okay, I think it would be safe. I think what you need to do, because what he's saying there is, yeah, we're going to wait and see till more information comes out. I think you're better off. I think we got to get to a spot where, like, if this happens, if I'm that guy, I think it's okay to say, yeah, we're going to cover up the street sign. We're going to cover up the name of the school until information shows vindication. And if no vindication occurs for the late Cesar Chavez, well, then it stays. Then we change the name of the school. That's what you should do, in my opinion. Because I think that if you wait like that, I think that sets a precedent. I think you should, when that allegation is made, if you say, yeah, I stand with survivors, but I'm still going to wait. Well, that's not really standing with survivors, is it now? You got to commit. You got to say, yeah, I believe these people. And I know that due process hasn't happened to determine whether or not this is true, but still, it's a very, very serious allegation to make about somebody. You know, and you put yourself, if you make that allegation and this hasn't happened, I mean, these people are putting themselves in great risk if they're just making that shit up. And you've got numerous people that have come out of the woodwork and said, oh, yeah, he molested me too. So, I mean, what more do you need, really?
While the school district continues to evaluate, some political candidates are already
continues to evaluate. Wait is what that is.
Saying the street and school should be renamed. Ivan Diaz is running for state senate in the 29th district, where Cesar Chavez Avenue and Elementary School are located.
I am in favor, frankly, of changing the street name, changing the school name, and personally for me, I think we should be recognizing Dolores Huerta, who is
she was molested.
At this point, really the true hero and icon of that movement.
Huerta is one.
Oh, I take it back. She was not molested. She's the icon of the movement. She may have been molested, but I'm not sure.
One of the women alleged to have been abused by Chavez.
I take it back. She was abused. A lot of times when I watch these, I'm watching them for the first time. So I guess she was abused, but I fucked that up.
Really the true hero and icon of that movement.
Huerta is one of the women alleged to have been abused by Chavez after helping found the United Farm Workers Union. Diaz adds there should be more of a policy focus on protecting survivors.
To make sure that we can, in the long term, create a society that doesn't find it okay to molest people, to assault people, and even worse, to protect predators.
Now, the Committee to Honor Cesar E. Chavez, the group responsible for the annual...
I'm going to read it. Or is he going to read it?
Will march to honor the labor leader, also issued a statement announcing it's pausing engagement, adding its mission is, quote, larger than any one individual. Chavez died in 1993 at age 66. In the newsroom, Nick Nelson, 13 on your side.
All right, stop doing vocal fry. You're better than that. It doesn't make you sound better at all when you gotta do all that shit. You sound like fuck. You're stifling the air coming through to make yourself sound as you think better, but you don't, asshole. Stevie says don't glorify pedophiles. Well, I mean, that's a little bit of cart in front of the horse. We don't know, but I think that it's that there are people that have said that he assaulted, but I don't know if it was children. I know that many women have come forward, but they may have been of age. So, but generally, sexual assault is kind of in that same neighborhood, sexual assault, pedophilia. I mean, obviously that's a step above. Excuse me. But in my opinion, let's say you have multiple women that say, yeah, he did inappropriate things to me. You don't need to wait. Okay? You believe them until you don't have to believe them anymore, until they're proven. If that happens, and you know what? Let's be honest here. There's no fucking way that these women are going to do this without, if there's smoke, there's fire. We know that. This guy probably did do this shit. So I think it's a better precedent to say, well, that's quite an allegation, so much so that it needs to be taken care of before we have his name on our school and on our street. It may inevitably work out that they're all making it up. I don't know. Figure that shit out. Megan says all that the school city is seeing is money flying out the window, renaming shit. Yeah, I don't know why. Why does that cost a bunch of money to put a fucking blanket over a goddamn school? Donut Dan says, if this is true, heck yes, strip all his accolades. Well, what happens when someone is attacked like this and we cancel them and it is later learned that they were completely innocent? Well, you got to word it appropriately. You can't just say, fuck them, like me. Just say, well, that is quite an allegation. One that until this is rectified, we don't want any part of it, so we're going to cover the name up until this is done. So currently, as we wait for this to be resolved, there will be no name there because there's potential that we have a goddamn psychopath whose name is on the side of the school. Murder Lover Linda says, lesson, don't name shit after people. Donut Dan says, there was a cop I work with who had a stepdaughter say he played with her. I guess meaning assaulted. He unalived himself, and later she admitted she lied about it all. What? What the hell did he do that for? Talk about due process. Yeah, wait. What the fuck? Fuck, man. That's terrible. Donut Dan sent me something that I'm going to share with you, knowing full well that I am kind of kicking a hornet's nest. Dan is not a fan of Greta Thunberg. He wrote, great show fodder here. My favorite dipshit is back. First it was climate change, then free Palestine, and now Cuba. I just love how grifters move from one thing to another. He attaches a video that I'll share with you. Then Dan says, I am guessing she does not get her haircut at King's Room Barbershop. Holy shit. Was she wearing a helmet when they cut it? I also thought that she came from a super rich family. Look at those teeth on the bottom row. Damn. All right, so clearly he has a problem with Greta Thunberg. I know very little about her. I just know what he said. Climate change, free Palestine. And but I mean, I don't know what the grift is. I don't know what the money is to be made. But right now, United States is committing a brutal act of collective punishment of the Cuban people, depriving people of basic means for survival. We cannot allow this to happen. The 21st of March is the International Day of Solidarity with Cuba. On that day, the Nuestra America convoy, that's hers, arrives in Havana carrying humanitarian aid by air, land, and sea. Okay. Now, I'm pretty sure that the government of Cuba is quite oppressive to their people. Like if you were to, people that live in Cuba, they have a terrible time because of the way the communist government oppresses them. It's awful. I'm pretty sure that Trump said he's going to take over Cuba. Now, I don't know if we live in a day and an age where if we do that, if Mother Russia is going to defend Cuba. In the past, they would have. But I think that if you were to bang on the door of the people that live in Cuba and say, yeah, how would you like to live a life free of oppression and not have to watch what you say and not be a political prisoner and not be killed for something that you said or did, they would be all for it, not to mention capitalism and tourism and the blockade that we have in place would then end. Cuba's a shithole because of their government. I don't know how she doesn't know that. Bread Bull Brain Chris says, how would you like to have electricity? Megan says the video of Castro falling is one of my favorites. Yeah, we'll get to that. All right. Let's hear what she has to say. I'll admit she's annoying. I think she's autistic or has Asperger's or something like that.
We need to talk about what's happening in Cuba right now. As the Trump administration is waging illegitimate wars across the world, killing countless of people, it is also strangling the Cuban people, deliberately, methodically, and openly. The pedophile Trump himself bragged about it.
Now, I don't know if Trump's a pedophile.
Saying there's an embargo, there is no oil, there's no money, there's no anything. He said it like it was something to be proud of, while millions of people have been plunged into darkness by rolling blackouts, while hospitals lose power, while ambulances run out of fuel, while shelves go empty. The United Nations has warned of imminent humanitarian crisis. Intensive care units and emergency rooms are compromised. Newborns, the elderly, the sick, all paying the price. This is not an accident or an unfortunate side effect of some policy disagreement. This is the intended outcome. Since 1962, the US embargo has been designed, in the words of the US State Department itself, to bring about hunger, desperation, and overthrow the government. Now the Trump administration is escalating it further, plotting what they themselves have called a takeover of the island.
That's true.
We cannot be silent about this.
No, you should. You should let us take it over.
Cuba did not stay silent when the world needed it. For over 60 years, Cuba sent its doctors to all corners of the earth. Cuban medical workers fought Ebola in West Africa. They responded to disasters in Haiti. They trained generations of doctors from all over the world.
No, if Cuba was run by the U.S., their doctors would be 1 million times better at being doctors.
When liberation movements were fighting for independence from colonial rule across Africa and much of the world was looking the other way, Cuba stood in solidarity.
How she could say that American influence on Cuba is a bad thing. If the United States makes Cuba a state, and they should, simply for humanitarian reasons, those people would be so much happier.
Not just in words, but in action, with real material support. Cuba stood up for the world, and now it is time for the world to stand up for Cuba. On the 21st of March...
All right, I can't take it. She's full of shit. Very well spoken. I think she's very smart, but she's fucking brainwashed. And I want to know why the fuck she's doing this. How can you possibly look at the Cuban people? I mean, these are people who like shit in their hands and throw it out into the street. Have you ever seen? Most of Cuba is slums. So I think that that's completely misguided. Branjo says, I really don't understand all the hate she gets. I admire folks who are idealistic. I wish I had some of that left. Right, maybe, but it's wrong. That place is a disaster for every person that lives there. You're talking about a very oppressive government doing terrible things to its people. Don't be fooled by that. There is nothing acceptable by the way Cuba's government treats their people. There is so much oppression and a terrible treatment that I'm shocked that she would actually say that. Bread Bowl Brain Chris says Cuba could be a tropical paradise. Oh, they would. It could be such a wonderful place for those people. Yeah, we should take it over. I hope we do. Rebecca says we would treat them the same way we treat Puerto Rico. Well, that's good, right? Isn't Puerto Rico in great shape? Maybe I'm speaking out of school here. I don't know. We should make Puerto Rico a state. We should make Cuba a state. Linda says Cuba has cool, well-preserved old cars. Chris in Buffalo says their newest car is a 57 Chevy with 300,000 miles. You know Cuba's a rough place where you've got whole families that fit onto like a truck inner tube and try to float across the ocean to Florida. Like, that's their best option. Donut Dan says to attach yourself to everything that the U.S. does as if it were terrible is her deal. Float that parade into Iran, Greta. I think she's well-spoken and smart, but I think she's misguided here, frankly. Iran says they're going to start blowing up tourist destinations. Parks and tourist attractions worldwide. Iran vows missile production will continue and warns tourist sites worldwide could be targeted, defying weeks of U.S.-Israeli strikes. Okay. And that's something you can expect. And I can't believe it hasn't started sooner. You know, we had that story about that guy who said, there's tons of people of Iranian sleeper cells in the U.S. that are going to attack. I can't believe that hasn't happened yet. Iran's top military spokesperson said parks, recreational areas, and tourist destinations worldwide won't be safe for Iran's enemies. Yeah, that is the only chance they have in this, is a guerrilla campaign. That's what happens when you attack nations that have no chance. You know, you can sit there and brag all you want about all the death and destruction of the bad guys, but at the end of the day, you can't kill everybody. And the more you piss them off, the worse it's going to be. So I hope they find a fucking resolution to this quickly. My God. Josh in Borculo says, great. I go on a cruise April 1st. Megan says, just in time for spring break. Yes. Oh, my gosh. Folks, I am lean today. I'm going to get to a handful of my sponsors that make this show go round, and then we're going to do the asshole of the day. Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid and EV. What can I say about them that hasn't already been said? Number one in West Michigan. Get your car, hybrid, or EV repaired at Irvine's. ERVines.com. Free loaner cars. They'll get your car fixed right the first time. Frank Fuss at My Policy Shop Insurance. He'll help you with getting health insurance on the marketplace, healthcare.gov. To get started, go to appointmentwithfrank.com and get some time with Frank. Frank does not charge you for his services. Everything is free. King's Room Barbershop, 3 locations in West Michigan, Northland Drive, Caledonia, and at 821 36th Street. They are the best. Go to kingsroom.net for more information. A haircut's going to set you back $21. 18 if you're active or retired military. Last but not least, Kuiper Tree Care, 616-828-8225. Get rid of unwanted trees. Have the stumps ground down. Storm damage cleanup, tree trimming, tree risk assessment. They do it all at Kuiper. 616-828-8225. Call and mention my name today. Thank you to them. Thank you to you. All right. Your asshole of the day today is the late Cesar Chavez. Congratulations on your award. Folks, keep in mind that my Patreon is available for you for free. Bob says, asshole of the day, the Grim Reaper for taking Chuck Norris. Yeah, I don't know if that's true because he's probably going to kick the Grim Reaper's ass. R.I.P. Chuck. Join me on Patreon later on. You can sign up for free at patreon.com/Eric Zane. And you can go there and get yesterday's Patreon Big Frog Thursday show. 2 of these previews, episode 90, and the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. For now, though, have a good one. Thank you for being here. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.